Hello everyone, this is Greg from Mystery Honey. This week's video is going to be a little bit different to usual. A series of unfortunate events occurred during this inspection that I'm going to be going through. And you may have seen some update posts either on TikTok or Facebook, Instagram or YouTube Shorts. I came across a hive during my weekly inspection, and I saw that there was a lot of dead bees out front, pile on the floor. I also noticed that there were bees walking about a bit lackadaisically at the front as well. At the time, I got a bit confused. I was a bit worried about it. No, that's not true. I was extremely worried about it. I've never really dealt with a disease like this before. I've had chalk brood before. I've had a very minor case of sac brood, but I've never had a situation where there was a big pile of dead bees out front and the bees were juddering and looking horrible on the actual entrance itself. The first thing I thought that it was either chronic bee paralysis virus or poisoning. Now, poisoning is extremely rare. There's a lot of rules when it comes to spraying pesticides on your fields in the UK. So poisoning in the UK is extremely rare. It tends to be either accidental. So say a farmer spraying something and they didn't realise that it was a pesticide, they thought it was some sort of fertiliser, something along those lines. Or maybe they've sprayed their crops and there's been a massive downpour and all the poison has run off into the waterways and the bees have sort of sipped it up, something along those lines, There's multiple ways that it could be accidental. It's very rare that someone goes to your hives and poisons it, because a lot of people don't really hate beekeepers. It's very rare for someone to hate a beekeeper. A lot of people quite like beekeepers. We try our best to keep things ticking for nature, So a lot of people don't really hate beekeepers. So I wasn't really worried about it being a poison attack against my hives on purpose, some sort of sabotage. But what I was worried about was maybe they'd gone to a farmer's field where they'd been spraying and they'd been poisoned that way. So that's what I thought it was, either chronic bee paralysis virus or poisoning. Now, I've never dealt with either of these things, so I was just going off what I could remember from my National Bee Unit interview that I did 2-3 years ago. So I was going back in time, trying to remember all the details about each one, and I was trying to explain that on video, and I explained it poorly. So the symptoms are very similar. You'll get a pile of bees out front. You'll see a lot of dead bees on the floor of the hive and around the entrances and stuff like that. So that's what you see on both. The distinct differences are that if it's poisoning, there will be lots of dead bees all over the apiary. As they're flying back, they'll die and hit the deck. So there'll be lots of piles everywhere. There's also something called the death spiral. So when bee lands on its back, it'll try and fly, so it'll spin around in circles on its back. And that is a good indicator that it's poisoning. Now, with poisoning, you will get that they stick the tongue out like that while they're on the backs. And you also get that with chronic bee paralysis virus as well, but it's not to the same extent. Another difference is that with chronic bee paralysis virus, you will get shiny bees. So what happens is that a bee is infected, it is slow, it loses its ability to move as well as the other bees. So the bees sort of bully it and budge it out of the way, pluck it. So they pluck the hairs from these bees and try and shoo them away, because these bees become pariahs inside the hive. That's why if you go into the hive and you see around the edges, usually that's where you will find the shiny bees, because they'll be shoved to the edges or to the very ceiling of the hive. They'll be kept away from the brood, kept away from the rest of the bees, because bees are quite hygienic. If they see disease, they try and get rid of it. And a lot of the times, the ones that get rid of the disease, they stay out as well. They don't come back just in case. So bees are incredible creatures in that case. I think the last difference for the chronic bee paralysis virus is that you will get dead in different stages on the floor. So with poisoning, they all die at around the same time. With chronic bee paralysis virus, you'll get them dying slowly. So you'll get different types of death around them. I'm going to show you the first part of the inspection now. It'll show me noticing the bees and what my thoughts are at the time as well. Obviously now, hindsight is a wonderful thing. I should have known what it was. and I should have given you some good advice, but I didn't at the time. So please enjoy this first bit. I'll come back in a minute and explain what I did next and what you need to do if you see something similar in your colonies. So as I mentioned before, it's quite blowy today, so you guys might get a bit of interference of the wind, so if that's the case, I'm sorry. Something I've noticed is that all these plants, all this stuff has cropped up in the past week. It wasn't here before. So in 2 weeks or whatever, this is all shot up, so it's an absolute mess. Like, wildlife wise, fantastic. Wildflowers like that we've got here, like dandelions, stuff like that, are amazing for pollinating and stuff like that. As a beekeeper, a bee farmer, where I'm going to be handling heavy boxes and possibly moving back and forth, it's a nightmare. It's a really big health hazard. I can easily trip on this stuff and fall over, and when you're carrying heavy boxes and you're using sharp implements like this or something that's lit, it's really dangerous. So what I need to do is I need to come back with my strimmer, and I need to just take it all down back to the ground. Anywhere else, like around the edges and stuff like that, I'm probably going to leave, because there's no point in bothering with that. I'm not going anywhere near the edges, it doesn't matter. But anywhere in the centre here, I really need to take care, just because this is where I move about. First and foremost, always look after your own health and safety. You've only got one life, make sure you keep it going. So something of note, so just come and have a look here. We have got some bees at the entrance, hanging around, sniffing, looking around, stuff like that. Some guard bees looking about. A bit confused about these ones, actually. There's some that seem a bit confused at the entrance. I'll bring you in and let you have a look. It's a little bit concerning. So first thing you always do when you come to a beehive is have a look at the entrance. You can see some things that you may miss in the actual hive itself, because sick bees are usually stuck to the front. You also get a lot of guard bees as well, so they may not like my hand being here. But if you look here, this one seems to be struggling. She's got her tongue out. She looks like she's trying to clean it, but she's been like that for a while. There's this one. This one's got their tongue out as well. So this could be a sign of like a pesticide. So they could have flown to a flower somewhere and been poisoned. And looking down here, so looking at the ground here, loads of dead bees. Loads and loads of dead bees. So this is a sign of something going on. There's loads of dead bees out here, and I'm just going to have a look at the other ones, see if there's anything wrong here. So this big pile of bees here, seems like this is the only hive with it on. So I'm a little bit concerned about that. We've got bees at the entrance, looking a bit ill. 1, 2, looking a bit ill. Like, these ones look okay, these look fine, but 1, 2 look a bit ill. We've got some here, down here, that are looking dead. Okay, so I think we're best having a look and inspecting this one. I'll inspect that one last, just so if there is any disease in there, I'm not spreading it to the other hives. But that's interesting. Okay. Right, so the rain died down now, so I'm going to try and get this done, and we'll go inside and see what we can find. Yeah, so I found a big pile of bees. That is a big indicator. Whenever you go checking your hives, first things you do is just look at the front. Look at the front, see what you can see. If bees are milling about, perfectly fine. Sure, nothing about. You don't mind seeing a few bees, like maybe 10 or whatever like that. 20, it's fine. If you see some of them dead on the floor, fine. If you see like a bearding, sometimes that can tell you something. But yeah, so when you first do inspection, first thing you want to see is the front. See what they're doing, see what they're doing at the entrance. You want some guard bees there milling about, you want some foragers coming back in and out. Because I found this big pile of dead bees down here, I'm concerned that there's because I found this big pile of dead bees down here, I'm concerned that there's some disease in here. Looking at the ones that were on the front, one of which has now unfortunately completely passed away. The tongue is stuck out. There's two signs for tongue sticking out, really. One is starvation, and the other one is poisoning. So poisoning could be like a pesticide or something along those lines. So I'm a bit concerned about that. There's another colony at the back over here that has the same signs going on as well. So if maybe I don't find something in this one that can explain why the bees are dying here, maybe I can find out in that one. But let's focus on this middle one first. So another issue is if they have been poisoned, you need to be very careful with what you do with the honey from then on, because if it is something that's poisonous to humans, they could have stored it in the honey. Now, something that's capped, seeing as this has only happened in like the past 2 weeks, anything that's capped in like the top or anything like that should be okay. But anything below, especially in the brood area, I'd be very concerned about it. If I do see any sort of signs of disease, I will probably see if I can fix it. So if it's something just like Varroa destructor or something along those lines, you can treat that, that's fine. If it's something like DWV, so deformed wing virus, some of those lines, that can be solved by doing Varroa treatments. Now if it's something like EFB, European foul brood, that's caused this, generally European foul brood doesn't cause damage to the bees themselves. It is usually the cells that they are like looking after the larvae and stuff like that. Same with a lot of the brood problems. When you see something with the actual bees themselves, it's something along the lines of bee paralysis virus or something, or poison or something along those lines. Okay, so yeah, like this is some full supers of honey. Problem is that these boxes, although they are absolutely full of honey, that's amazing, there's not many bees in it. So this colony has shrunk down quite a lot. It needed the space beforehand, but now the space doesn't seem to be needed. So that's another sign that they've lost quite a few bees. So I'm just having a look at the top here. Seen some dead drones, that's fine. Drones can't get through the queen excluder, so I'm expecting to see some dead drones. If they manage to get into the box, then they can't get back down again. So let's knock these down. Right, so we need to be very careful with what we see. We're going to be looking at the bees, we're going to be looking at the brood. We're looking for any really dodgy brood, and we're looking for any bees that maybe like shuddering like that, or struggling. Like this one here seems to be stuck on her back. She's got a tongue sticking out as well. I'm seeing a lot of bees here with the tongue sticking out. Now there's lots of food, so starvation is not the cause. So you can see she's sort of twitching. She doesn't really know what she's doing. Tongue sticking out. It's really sad to see. Something's happening to her. Oh girl. Now, looking down at this, we've got lots of twitchy bees. So, I think this is a bee paralysis virus. Just because all the bees are twitching like that. They're all shaking all over the place like that. So there's not really much you can do. It's a virus. When these viruses hit, God, you kind of just have to play them out. Or you can euthanize them. Euthanizing them stops them from spreading that virus to anyone else. So that's a serious option that I am weighing right now. It's upsetting. I hate the idea of euthanizing, but it's something that you really need to think of. Because what's more important, one colony which is dying slowly, or the rest of the healthy ones which could get infected from this one? The needs of the many outweigh the needs of the few, as Spock used to say. So yeah, I'm stuck. I'm not sure what to do. I think I need to do a bit more research before I do anything serious, like euthanizing. But I do think that this is chronic bee paralysis virus. So I'm going to tell you the treatments for this. So chronic bee paralysis virus, as I said before, all you can do really if you want to cure it is just wait it out. Try and give the bees as much space as possible, because the virus is spread by bees touching each other. So the more space there is, the more likely the healthy bees will be able to get around and get away. But looking at this, the whole hive, all of the bees here are all shaking. There's maybe like a few that aren't, but the majority of them are shaking here. So yeah, I think this whole colony is infected. Now there is a problem here in that if these guys get too weak, then another colony will come and rob them out. And if they rob these guys out, that means that they will probably get this virus as well, and that's how it spreads from colony to colony to colony. So yeah, I need to do something with this. Now there is an excess of space already, so I'm amazed that this has managed to get as bad as it has. Like this box, they're not using this box. And if they're queenless as well, then yeah. They're not using this box either. They're using these back few frames at the back here. These front ones here completely empty. And I think the floor is littered in dead. Yes, the floor is littered in the dead. Yeah, so I think this is bee paralysis virus, and I think that I'm going to have to do something like euthanize this colony. There's another one over there that is also suffering as well. Now, to make sure that you get all the bees, the best thing to do is wait until night. I will have to... Oh man, I'm going to have to euthanize these. So bees are your pets. I know that a lot of people don't think the beekeepers think as bees as their pets, think of as livestock and stuff like that. But they are your pets. Yeah, I do care about my bees very much. So the idea of euthanizing them, it's horrible. It's like euthanizing your dog, you know. Yeah. Anyway, sorry about that. I'm going to build them up. I'm going to wait till night time, and then I'm going to close them up. Same with the colony over here, which is also suffering from the looks of it. I'll open it up and check as well, but I'll close it up, and then we'll try and figure out what to do next. Yeah. If I can get away without euthanizing them, I will do. But my guess is that it's probably best for this colony and for the whole colonies here. I don't want that virus to spread. Anyway, I'm gonna build this up now. I'm gonna move on to the next ones. Before I do though, I'm gonna change my gloves and I'm gonna clean me hive tools. When you're dealing with this virus, it is spread from the bees. So comb should be okay. So you shouldn't have to melt down that comb. The larvae, that could be infectious. So any frames of brood, then it might be worth melting them down. But frames of honey like this, it shouldn't cause any issues. But yeah, I'll do some more research and we'll talk about it in a bit. Flip. So I'm going to call it quits there. I've taken a few minutes and just gone and done a bit more research on chronic bee paralysis virus. It's been a few years since I did my national bee unit research. I tried to go for a job there, so it's a bit fuzzy in the head, so I wanted to make sure that I was saying the right thing. So there's no cure for chronic bee paralysis virus. It does eventually fade, so if I wanted to, I could keep this colony going and just try and keep them alive. The honeycomb is perfectly fine to use unless it's a really bad infection like this one kind of has. So what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to melt down the wax in these frames. I'm going to burn the frames, and I'm going to bleach these boxes and scorch this box. And I think I'm going to kill these bees off with a massive heavy heart. I don't want to, but I can't risk the others getting it. It's the same as that one over there. I just don't want to risk it. The positive is that honey frames like this, they won't pass on the infection, so I can keep this honey and I can use it again, these honeycombs again. That's really good. It's extremely valuable stuff, honeycomb, especially in supers, and it gets your season off to a great kickstart if you've got drawn out frames. So I can use these frames, that's good. But these ones that have been used for brood in this colony, I will probably melt these down and burn them off, same as that one over there, which is a shame, but it's just the way things are. Yeah, but I'm going to call it quits there on that extremely happy note. My my stand is broken, it's terrible weather, and I've found a hive with chronic bee paralysis virus. It's really going well today. So after going through all my hives and coming to the conclusion that it's either poison or chronic bee, I gave some poor advice. What I needed to do was contact the National Bee Unit, and that's what I did. A few emails sent to them. I sent some videos and pictures of everything that was going on, and the guy I was sending them to was like, "Oh God, this is looking like poisoning." So I went into, it's like, "Oh my God, what is going on? Lost colonies to poisoning. What do I do?" You know. So I got really stressed about that, and I was like, "Who's poisoning my hives?" Went to investigator mode and panicked. Hi guys, I'm back. Bit of a random one. I sent an email off to the National Bee Unit about the disease I found yesterday. I was a bit concerned because, yeah, it's a sign of chronic bee paralysis virus that I saw, but I didn't see any bees that were shiny, and it's been playing on my mind all night, and I was thinking about it all night, tossing and turning. I couldn't sleep because I hate the idea of having disease, and the bees had the tongues out. Well, that's another sign that it's not really something that you see in chronic bee paralysis virus. You may see it at the very end, but I'm not sure. And the more I thought about it, the more I thought, you know what? It could be pesticides, it could be poison. So it's really stuck in my head, and I don't know what it is. So I got in touch with the National Bee Unit, and I think they're leaning towards poison as well rather than disease. So they've asked me to take some photos. Now, unfortunately, my tripod that I used to hold you guys has bust. I tried to push it into the dirt and I snapped one of the legs off. I've ordered a new one, but I don't think I'll be able to keep you guys along. What I might do is just like hold it and show you what I'm taking pictures of. But yeah, so the plot thickens is the only thing I can say. Right, I'm going to get my suit on and get going. So I'm going against my better judgment here, and going without a smoker. So that kind of looks positive. It looks like the bees maybe have found some sort of nectar source, but you can still see, if you're looking at the bees, they are wiggling really strangely, like shaking. That's not great. And there's the pile. I need to take some pictures of these things now. Okay, back in a sec. So I've taken a picture of that. I'm going to crack this open and see if I can get pictures of the bees shaking. So I've showed you little snippets of videos that I've taken. You've seen bees vibrating, as you can see there. They are all just like vibrating. The ones that are stuck in spot, look at that guy, he's proper touching. The ones that are stuck in the same spot, they have the tongues out and it looks like they're trying to clean themselves. So yeah, this is an indicator of pesticide supposedly. I've never dealt with pesticide before, so this is new to me. But like, look at them, they're proper shaking. They don't look good. Like, you think there's a wind going on because all the wings are shuddering, but no, it's no wind. It's not good. And if you look down there, you can see all the dead on the floor, and they're just twitching uncontrollably. Now, the sad thing is that this is a queenless hive. They swarmed, and the queen that has emerged, I think, has probably died, because all of these brood frames are completely empty. There's nothing in them whatsoever. No food, no brood, no nothing. I'm going to go through these two supers that have been put on top as brood area, but I don't think there's any brood whatsoever. So I can't do some of the pictures that the NBU want me to show them. They wanted pictures of the front, where the pile was. They wanted pictures of the bottom board, which I've done. They wanted pictures of frames of brood, with the bees on it and detritus and stuff like that, but unfortunately, yeah, there's no brood whatsoever. So I'm going to close it up now. Now, what they've said is to shut the front door, because more than likely this is going to cause a robbing frenzy. Now, I'm really worried because, one, they could be robbed out, which could spread the disease everywhere else. Like, I think these guys are starting to get affected by it. So if you look at the bees, they're starting to shake a little bit. Not a lot, but a little bit. And they've got a bit of a dead pile there. Kate now has a bit of a dead pile, but these bees seem a lot healthier. They look fine. This colony over here, that has a massive dead pile there. Look at that. Wow. And these guys are exhibiting some shaking as well. So if it is disease, I don't want it spreading. So I think I'm going to have to block it up. But the problem with blocking it up is that any foragers that are out here will get stuck outside and will probably go to another colony. So I'm a bit concerned. What I might do is I might block up the majority of the entrance just to make it a bit easier for them to defend. And I'm going to use like a piece of grass for that. Watch out the way, guys. Like that. Watch out. So yeah, I'm just going to do that. Block up the majority of the entrance for them. Just give them a bit more of a fighting chance. Then I'll come back tonight when they're all home and block it up properly. But yeah, it's not good. This is also going to be pretty hard to block up because they've chewed a little entrance inside here. I don't know what I'm going to do with that. I found an old packet of fondant, so I've stuck that over the entrance there. Close it up like that. And then where that gap is, I'm going to shove some grass there, and hopefully that'll keep them at bay. So unfortunately, that's all I can do. I'll come back later on tonight when everyone's inside, and I'll close it up. But yeah, I'm thinking that maybe this colony here, and maybe Kate has got a bit of this poisoning or disease. Like, there's a positive and a negative to it both. If it's disease, if it's chronic bee paralysis virus, then I can cull the colony, which is heartbreaking to say, but I can do that. And it means I can reuse the frames because it's not passed through the wax. It's only passed through touch of other bees. So that's a good thing. Bad news is if it's pesticide, then it means that any honey that's stored in this, which as you can see is quite a few supers, is possibly dangerous to be given out to the public. So yeah, and I can't use it to feed the bees either, so it'll be going to waste, sadly. So yeah, that's sad. If it is the virus, by the way, I'd be burning and melting down these frames where the brood area is anyway, just for complete sake, really. I don't want to transfer any disease from one place to another. Right, I'm going to head back now. Interesting, worrying, but also interesting. I hope that the National Bee Unit can help. And I hope there's some way I can get around this and sort this out without having to lose a colony. But we'll see. So it's absolutely hammering it down, but I'm doing this because I've been asked by the NBU to do it. I'm just having a quick look around the edges. So with Chronic Bee Paralysis Virus, bees tend to become pariahs. They have all the hair torn off them by the other bees and they get shoved to the outside. But I'm not seeing anything like that right now. We've got some over here, but they're not shiny bees at all. Just looking through the other ones. These bees, they're hunkering down because it's raining. But as you can see, they look all healthy really, to the exception of, you know, being poisoned. But something I've noticed is that they're not as twitchy. I don't know. But anyway, so looking around the edges, there's no shiny bees at all in this hive. I've not seen any whatsoever, so it's just another sign that I don't think it's CBPV. Anyway, right, collect some samples and get in before it gets soaked. This is the other hive that's affected as well. The rain's stopped now, so I can take my time. No shiny bees whatsoever. None. They're twitching like crazy, but no shiny bees. Here's the dead. Again, all the dead seems to be around the same age. Now we've got a kind of shiny bee here. It's not super shiny. It's not as shiny as it should be because it's still got the still got some fur on it. Just no shiny bees that I can see. There we are. Here's one that looks like it's kind of shiny. Still has fur on it though. I think that's more that it's just starting to degrade and rot. Finally, I've been told to monitor if there's any more bees dropping after I've cleared them away. So I've put these Varroa trays underneath the entrances, so if any bees fall out and die, they'll be caught by that. I've put it in front of all the hives that I think are infected. So yeah. Look, here's my bee samples anyway. So I've collected, there's more than 200 bees in there I think. And I've collected all the dead as well. So these are going to be cleaned and then be put in the freezer next to me sausages and peas. And if there's an investigation, then I can get these out and they can have them tested. But yeah, it's really sad. I really hate this. I really, I really want to swear, but I can't because I'm family friendly. But still, just really upsetting. Anyway, after a lot of back and forth over the week, a bee inspector came to my house. His name is Ewan and he's a top-notch person. He came to my hive and he had a look at the front of it and he was saying to me, it sounds like poisoning from what we've seen in the videos and pictures that he sent to us, but I'm just here to make sure and take some samples. So this is the sample pot that he brought and it still has the dead bees inside. So we collected some samples from some of the hives that were infected. Going through it though, he noticed some things that I hadn't. So because he has a lot more experience with this stuff, he noticed that the bees I had were shiny. I couldn't see it, but he could. And what he did was he showed me. He had the bees on a frame and he tilted it like that. And he said, look, if you look at that bee there, that is shiny. And I was looking at it, I go, it's not shiny. That's not a shiny bee. It's still got, it's not black and dark like you see in the pictures when it's talking about Chronic Bee Paralysis Virus, you know, on the NBU website. And he said, no, it's because you've got lighter bees. So my bees range from light, like bright orange, to sort of orange and black. Those pictures that you see are very black bees. So it's quite hard to see if your bees are shiny when they are slightly lighter, like mine. I'll show you what he's on about now.
I would really say that's chronic.
Okay.
My opinion is it's chronic.
Okay.
Now, I may be wrong.
Yeah. Because he's wiggling about as well. But yeah,
yeah. Dead bees on the top.
Yes.
As well.
Yeah.
That's a bit odd, isn't it? They've actually
Just curled over. So yeah, so
He's not classically shiny,
yeah,
but I think that one's quite shiny.
yeah, because you can see the sun glinting off him, can't you? Yeah.
Do you agree with me on the shine on that?
Yeah, like as I said, I always thought it was the other hair, like all the hair would go, not just the stuff from the abdomen. But is it just the stuff from the abdomen then? Yeah.
It's pretty much the abdomen.
Right. Because they've got, obviously they've got little furry bums, but I don't know. That's what I mean. Like they're all jittering like that.
That's a big sign of chronic.
So that's chronic bee.
I'm not saying it is. I'm saying it's a sign.
Yeah. Because you've got some that are flapping on the back like that, you see.
Right. So they're not buzzing around, doing this like, you know, the dying fly.
Yeah. So as he was leaving, he said, "This is definitely chronic bee paralysis virus." He was 90% sure of it, not poison. So he told me the following, and this is what I'm going to tell you. He said, "Take the honey frames off if you have them, and block the entrance at night of any of the hives that are badly infected." So it was just the one at the time that was badly infected. It has now unfortunately spread to all of the colonies at my apiary. So I said, block the entrance of the badly infected ones and try and knock them down to just 1 or 2 boxes. The supers that you've taken off, you can extract the honey from them. The chronic bee paralysis virus won't do anything to the honey. It won't change the taste of it. It won't mar it in any way, shape or form. So you can extract that honey and you can sell it if you really want to. So that is what I've done. I've taken the supers off. He said, try and push down the bees into the very, very smallest amount of space you can. This is the badly infected ones, right? Because what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to cull these colonies. That's easy enough. You either, if it's a wooden hive, then you can block off the entrances, block it off the floor if you have a vented floor, so it's all nice and enclosed, and pour a cup of petrol over the top and put the lid on. It's the fumes, not the petrol, that kill the bees. It's very quick. They make a sound, they go zzz, and then they suddenly stop because they all suddenly die from the fumes. So that's one way of doing it. If you have polystyrene hives, like I have a lot of, it makes it a bit more difficult. What you're going to need is a big box. In the middle of the night, you're going to go use a red light. There's loads of red light torches out there, so get one of them. So you can light the area and you can see what you're doing, because bees can't see the colour red. And you're going to slowly and gently take the frames of bees out and put them in this cardboard box. Make sure the box is well sealed, there's no cracks or anything like that. Put them in the box. Then what you're going to do is you're probably going to take 2 cups of petrol and you're going to spread it over the bees and the frames that are inside this cardboard box. Close it, zip it with tape and leave it. It might take a bit longer for the bees to die, unfortunately, but it's just the way that things go. If you put petrol in polystyrene, it'll just melt. So that's one problem with polystyrene hives, really. After they die, it's best just to burn the whole lot. So the cardboard box and the frames. If you've killed them in a wooden hive, then take the frames out. I wouldn't recommend using the wax. I'd probably just burn the wax as well as the frames and the bees. As for the wood itself, if you just leave it to earth quite a while, maybe wash it a bit with some water and then scorch it. Try not scorching it straight after you've put petrol in, because then that's how you end up with a bonfire, and that's not good. As for the hives that are infected, but it isn't like super bad, what he said to me is to find the queen, cage her, take her out of the way, shake all of the bees out the colonies, so near the entrance, so like you're doing a shuck swarm, shake them all out the hives. On the floor, you're going to put like an eek, so it's going to be floor, an eek, which is just a square of wood with nothing in it. Then you're going to put a queen excluder over the top. Then you put your brood boxes over the top there. You can release the queen at that point. Brood box, brood box, brood box. He said, try not to make it a confined space. He said, try and keep it as big as possible. Chronic bee paralysis virus is passed on by bees nudging into each other. So what happens is when they're rubbing up against each other, they make these little micro tears in the carapace. And that's how the chronic bee paralysis virus is spread through the hairs in these little micro cracks in the carapace. So you want in a lot of space where the bees can all move about without budging into each other. The reason that we put a queen excluder on is because if a bee is affected with chronic bee paralysis virus, they will find it quite hard to maneuver through the queen excluders to get up to the combs. So it kind of stops those infected from being able to get into the hive body proper. It also stops the drones from getting in. Now, the bee inspector was adamant that he thinks that drones are the main cause of spread of this disease, just because they don't really care where they land and get food. Drones are kind of just accepted in each hive. They're not like workers, which will be booted out by the guard bees. Drones will just land and walk their way into any known hive that they have, and they'll expect food until they're very full, and then they'll clear off to go get mated with a virgin queen. So he thinks that they're the main cause. So by putting that queen excluded down, it means that the male bees can't get in because the drones are too big to fit through those gaps. There is an issue that drones that hatch from the comb will be stuck inside the hive, but as you do your inspections, weekly inspections, they'll fly out, and then they won't be able to get back in again, but they'll fly out anyway, so that's fine. What you need to do is you need to keep an eye on your bees. If they are shaking like that, or trying to move about and falling a lot, that is generally a sign of chronic bee paralysis virus before they start to go bald. A test that you can do is poking them, not like, but like just nudge them. A bee, if nudged, will stick its bum in the air and fend you off, or it'll walk away. These chronic bee paralysis virus bees, they just sort of like, they're trying to keep the balance. They just stay still and just like, whoa, what's going on? It is an issue. Another thing that you can notice, which I find and found very weird, is that if you grasp a lot of the dead bees and take a good sniff of them, try not to get one up your nose, but big sniff of them, it smells of fermenting honey. So if you've ever made mead, or if you've ever had a frame of honey that started to ferment in winter or something along those lines, it smells like that. It's very sickly sweet, and with a bit of an off tinge to it. When it comes to poisoning or other types of death, it's a very horrible smell. It smells like death. It's not very nice. So that is a very noticeable thing. If you are trying to figure out if the lot of dead bees on the floor of your hive have chronic bee, just take a scoop, go, oh my god, this is going to be horrible. No, it's not that bad, like I did. That's a good indicator. There are some things that throw you off. So one of the bee inspectors that I spoke to, not the one that came to me, but one of his workmates, stated that sometimes drones can make you think that you've got a poisoning when it's chronic bee paralysis virus, because drones get drunk on nectar sometimes. They drink way too much nectar, and sometimes they fall over and they try and fly, and it makes them look like they're spinning on the back. This is what I saw, and that is this false positive for poisoning. You think, oh no, I've got poisoning, but it's just that the drone is just drunk on nectar. So if you see a bee spinning around on its back and it's a drone, take it with a pinch of salt. It might not be poisoning. When it comes to any disease, first port of call, whether you remember or not, contact your local association. Just do it. They won't mind. They won't be like, oh, you're not part of our membership. No, we don't care. If it's disease, they care. All right? The next port of call, if they don't want to help, or if they are unable to help, contact the National Bee Unit. This is their job. This is their government job. This is what they do. They will come out if they think it's something serious, and they will come and inspect it for you. They will give you the best advice, like the inspector did for me. Chronic bee paralysis virus is not a notifiable disease. It is rife at the moment, but it is not something that will wipe out lots and lots of colonies. It is a virus, so the bees will get over it eventually. It's just upsetting when it happens, and what you can do is just try and minimize the death from it by doing, as I said, by shaking all the bees out apart from the queen, putting an eek and a queen excluder underneath all of your brood areas, and hopefully that'll help clear out the infected from the non-infected. I'm going to keep monitoring my bees after doing this, and we're going to see how long it takes for the disease to disappear or for all my bees to die. We'll have to see. It's infected a whole apiary now, so we'll have to see what happens. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please hit the subscribe button and the like button. That'd be amazing. I have two groups on Facebook. I have Nonsensical Beekeeping, which was a joke, but I actually have over 100 people on it now, which is weird because I've not invited anyone. I've also got Merseyside Beekeepers, which is for beekeepers in the area of Merseyside, so we can all talk to each other about problems that we're having, or maybe get some decent deals if like we're going to a supplier, because you can get some really good deals if you're buying in bulk. So that's another good reason to join it if you're in the area. other than that, thank you so much for watching these videos. It means the absolute world to me. And I hope you have an amazing day. I'll see you guys very soon. Bye bye.